Hello and welcome. It is Tuesday, which means it is training time. So, welcome to today's episode. My name is Kerry Postal. I am the owner and founder of Abacus Business Solutions, where we help business owners to know, understand, and trust their numbers. So, we're going to jump straight in today. As always, I appreciate your time is precious, and I thank you for jumping on now and listening in. Okay, so now we're going to get real. We're going to get a little bit honest. It's coming up to the end of the year, and New Year's resolutions and all that stuff are great, but resolutions don't tend to last. It tends to be a 1 month wonder, and then it's forgotten about. So I want to encourage you to take a really hard look about the state of your books, your bookkeeping. How is that looking? Is it up to date? Is it accurate? Do you trust it? Are you making your informed financial decisions based on your books? Or are you just making decisions based on your bank balance and hoping for the best? So today is a time to get honest with yourself and really look at the financial position of your business. Is it where it should be? Is it at a position where it's going to help you to grow your business to the next level? If you don't know your numbers, if you don't have reports that you're looking at every month, knowing that they're accurate, then it's really hard to be able to grow and scale your business. It's really hard to increase your profitability if you don't know where your profitability is right now. So let's jump in. So like I said, we're going to get honest. So I want you to really think about how your books are looking right now, what's going on with them, and are they a set of reports that you can trust in and use? Okay, so if your books are disorganized, if everything's upside down, everything's a mess, if they're behind, it makes it really difficult for you to be able to grow your business. It's hard for you to know, like, where is every dollar going in your business? You'll hear me talk about a lot about, telling every dollar in your business, what is its purpose? What is that dollar to be used for? And if you don't know where your dollars are going, then it makes it really hard to grow your business. And when you're looking at your books, when you're looking at your profit and loss, does it make sense? Does it make sense that that's how much money you're making? Does it make sense as to where those expenses are going? Is something missing off of that? Is something being maybe categorized incorrectly? If you're not looking at your books every single month, then it's really hard to be able to see those trends, see those patterns, and to see what is going on in your business. So I want you to really dig deep, look at that profit and loss, and see if it makes sense to you. Is that where your money is really going to? Does something seem too high? Does something seem too low? Is there something there that doesn't make sense to you and that's something you need to look into? So I really want you to start looking at your books and understanding what is going on. So the first thing you're going to look at is your income line. Does that make sense? Is that really how your business, how much revenue your business is doing every month? Does it seem too high? Do you have duplicate entries in there that maybe when your bank was reconciled that there was duplicate entries, but nobody removed the duplicate part of it? So we see that a lot, particularly if you have invoices that you're using in your QuickBooks Online system and you're not receiving payment against that open invoice, but you are just recording the deposit as additional revenue. Then you may end up having duplicate invoices, duplicate payments, which then means that your revenue is overstated. So make sure that that is accurate. That's really your starting point, and you want to make sure that the money coming in is true and actually is what coming into the business, and that is what your revenue number is. So then I want you to go through every single expense item. I want you to look at every single expense that has gone out of the business and see if that's what makes sense. Is it an expense you actually need? Is it money that maybe you're spending and it's going in the wrong place? So I really want you to dig in and ask yourself the hard questions. Is this an expense we need? Is this something that makes sense for us? Is this helping us to grow our business? Particularly look at those subscriptions as well. Those are where a lot of money gets spent every month and unnecessarily because you're no longer using that service. So really look through and make sure everything is making sense. Make sure your payroll is broken down in enough detail that you as the business owner can really see as to where your salaries are being paid. You want to make sure that you've got that breakdown so that you can see your payroll, if you are on payroll, is separate from everybody else's. You want to make sure that if you have a sales team, their payroll is separated out to everybody else. If you have technicians in the field, if you have office staff, you want to make sure that you've got those departments separated out so that you can really see how much each department is costing you. If you've got one lump sum, then it makes it really difficult for you to see as to what your expenditure is in each area. So make sure you've got those separated out. That'll make it a lot easier for you to see. Sometimes profit and loss reports have very few expense accounts, and it's really hard to see exactly where your money is going. So make sure you've got enough breakdown so you can really see where your money is being spent. If you've got too many different types of expenses in one account, it's really not going to make a lot of sense to you. And particularly, that general admin and expenses, it's a real catch-all account that is really easy for people just to throw an expense in there, and then it just gets lost within everything else. So make sure you have enough of a breakdown to really be able to see all those different expenses in your business. But don't go to the other extreme either. You don't want a profit and loss that's 2 pages long where everything is broken down into so much detail that you end up just like, okay, I don't want to even deal with this. It's going to take me too long to go through this. So make sure that it has enough detail that you can see as a business owner as to where the expenses are going, but not so over the top detail that it puts you off wanting to go through it. So as you're going through your books, I really want you to, like I said, take that hard look at everything. What is it that what expenses can you cut? Are you spending too much in a certain area? Maybe you're not spending enough in another area, maybe advertising. Are you recording the return of investment on your advertising dollars? And is that an area that maybe you need to increase your expense into, increase your revenue? Maybe you need to look in different areas of being able to, increase advertising if you're not getting an ROI on those current methods. So I really want to make sure that you understand how every single dollar is being spent in your business. If you are not using accounting software, so this, kind of talking along this of the assumption that you have a software, you have QuickBooks Online or something similar, and you're getting a profit and loss. Maybe you're doing everything in a spreadsheet. And that's where I really want to encourage you that now is a really great time to start thinking about getting a software like QuickBooks Online, and come January 1, having everything set up and being able to move forward so that you can really see how your business is performing. So spreadsheets are great, but spreadsheets really do have their time and place, and creating a profit and loss in them is really not the best use of those. So I really want to encourage you to think about getting a software if you don't already have one. And as you can see, that sun is blinding me. So I'm just going to quickly shut the blind. Take that horrible glare off my face. Okay. So really think about getting something like QuickBooks if you don't have something already that is being able to really accurately track all your income and all your expenses. And then you're also wanting to look at, reconciliations of accounts as well. And I know when people start talking about reconciliations, they just get this look of like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing there. So this is making sure that your bank agrees to your QuickBooks file. So a lot of the time people think that everything's being downloaded from QuickBooks. It must be accurate. Why do I need to do a reconciliation? Well, you know what? Technology fails. And sometimes it downloads a transaction twice, or maybe it skips a transaction. I've seen both ways happen. So it's really important that you are doing this reconciliation every single month of bank accounts and credit cards, and making sure all of that is correct. But it's not just the bank reconciliations and credit card reconciliations I want you to look at. I want you to look at your accounts receivable and your accounts payable reports as well. I want you to make sure that those all make sense. Those bills that are showing as owed on your accounts payable, are they truly owing? Or did they get paid, but the payment didn't get applied to the vendor bill that came in? So there's all these different ways where your numbers can be inaccurate because of duplicate entries, because the system hasn't been used correctly if you're on something like QuickBooks. And the same with accounts receivable as well. If you've got an invoice that's over 60 days and you're looking at that, and you know what, I know that they paid that invoice, then we need to make sure we get that correction done. So that way it's not showing as an unpaid invoice on your system. So it's really important that you're looking at those two reports as well, accounts receivable and accounts payable. Accounts payable, if you've got invoices that are overdue, one, are they actually overdue? Two, if so, has a vendor been calling you, chasing you for money? And do you need to get that invoice paid? So you want to make sure you're keeping in good position with your vendors. You don't want to upset them by being super late on paying them. Use your accounts payable report to understand exactly what you have owed and get those invoices paid on time. And then the same with those accounts receivable. If you've got invoices that are overdue, on the phone and call those people. Make sure that those people, are aware that their invoice, is still open. Maybe they sent a check in the mail to you and it got lost. Maybe a check came in, but it didn't get applied to the invoice. You want to make sure that, like I said, your numbers are up to date and they're accurate. And, accounting can get complicated, and it's real easy just to kind of get things to be in a mess with things, payments not being applied to vendor bills, checks not being applied to customer invoices, and it can get really overwhelming. And I get that. And then that makes it difficult for you to trust your reports. So that's why I really want to encourage you, if you're not using somebody, working with someone who knows bookkeeping inside out or upside down and back to front, then I really encourage you to reach out. This is a great time of year. Let's get started January 1. Clean slate and understand exactly how your business is performing. And like we've talked about recently as well, is looking at those reports every month. Don't go months and months without looking at your reports. You really want to see your business grow. You want to see your business succeed. You want to increase your profitability. And that means you've got to look at those reports. And as time consuming as it can be, and potentially boring because they're not the most exciting reports to look at, but it's going to help you be a much more successful business. It's going to help you really understand how your business is performing. And as a business owner, we have to do those elements as well. We have to see what's going on. We have to see how things are working, what's not working, and what do we need to change as well. So if this has struck a chord with you, if this is something where you're like, you know what, I really don't trust my numbers, or I'm not sure if this is accurate, this doesn't make a lot of sense, or my accounts receivable looks like I've got all this money owed, but I really don't. And the same with accounts payable. If it looks like you have a whole bunch of money owed, but you don't, then reach out to us. I would love to have a conversation with you and just to talk through what do you have going on, what's your struggle, what's causing you to stay awake at night, what's the stress points that are causing you to not be confident in those business decisions that you're making. And let's have a chat. Let's see if there's a way that we can help you. And if we can't help you, then we'll point you in the direction of somebody else that can. No pressure. I'm not that kind of person, but let's just have a conversation. I love to see businesses succeed. And I know that knowing your numbers is a critical part of that. So if there's anything that we can do to help you, just have a conversation. We can do a diagnostic review and see exactly what's going on and what it's going to take to clean your books up. Then I would love to have a conversation with you and see how we can help. So if you're watching the replay of this, then go ahead and type replay in the comment box for me. And if you have any questions, don't be hesitant in reaching out. You can send me a direct message or you can put a comment on here and we can get you on the schedule.